Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Asmita binti Muhammad Nasir. My matrix number is 2020626378. I will present the first part, which is introduction. First is definition of collective bargaining. Collective bargaining, as defined by the Industrial Relations Act of 1967, is the procedure through which representatives of employer and employees agree upon salaries, working hours, and other terms and conditions of employment. The goal is to prevent employers from unfairly abusing their position and to enhance workers' pay and working conditions through negotiations with businesses. To negotiate and continuously apply an established set of rules governing the substantive and procedural aspects of the employment relationship is what collective bargaining entails as a decision-making process between parties representing employer and employee interests. Single employer negotiations involve a single company and a trade union, while collective bargaining involves multiple unions and employers. What's more, the concerns addressed at each level are not always exclusive of one another. We move to the next part, which is definition of collective agreement. A collective agreement that has been approved by the industrial court shall be enforced and enforceable against both parties for a minimum of 3 years. In other words, a collective agreement is a written contract containing the terms and conditions of employment that has been concluded between the employer and the trade union. According to the Industrial Relations Act of 1967, a collective agreement must have certain provisions such as the effective period, which cannot be shorter than 3 years. Within 1 month of the date the agreement was inked, the collective agreement must be submitted. It may take up to 6 months to negotiate the first collective agreement. Agreements which through collective bargaining typically cover a period of 2 years. However, shorter durations are possible. Before the conclusion of the current agreement, the union and the employer will begin bargaining for a new one. If the union and the firm cannot come to an agreement, the union can encourage workers to go on strike.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Basar binti Muhammad Nasir. So now we proceed to the next part, which is the 5 non-bargainable items. We'll start with the promotion of workmen from a lower grade to a higher grade. Promotion refers to an employee's upward movement from one job to a higher one with an increase in salary, status, and responsibilities. Promotion involves or implies a vacancy or opening, as well as the issue of who will fill it and how. If seniority is strictly followed in promotion from one job to another, it will be difficult for management to develop an efficient workforce because new skilled employees won't typically start at the bottom of the ladder. Employee promotion in organization are classified into 3 types, which is horizontal promotion, vertical promotion, and drive promotion. Okay, we move on to the next item, which is the transfer of a workman within the organization. Transfer is when an employee moves from one position, section, department, shift, plant, or job to another at the same or different location while maintaining the same salary, status, and responsibilities. Transfer is commonly used to achieve many goals. The first goal is transfer are primarily used to stabilize employment within an organization. Then transfer are occasionally requested by the employer directly to ensure better of the workforce, increase the employee's versatility, and also adjust the workforce. Not just that, but it's also provide relief to the employee and lessen the disagreement and incompatibilities towards the employees. Transfer can also be caused to penalize the employees. Okay, for the next item is the termination of service of a worker by reasons of redundancy or reorganization. The end of an employee's employment with a company is referred to as termination of employment, so we're going to start with redundancy. Redundancy is when employer reduce their workforce in the event that a particular job or jobs are no longer needed. Redundancy is typically not a reflection of the employee's ability to perform their job, but rather it is a result of these outside factors. When forced redundancy are necessary because voluntary redundancies have failed, the method known as last in, first out LIFO is applied. Then, I'm going to explain about reorganization. Reorganization frequently entails changes budget plans, selling division, reorganizing reporting officers, and changing managers. Here are 7 explanations why a business might decide to reorganize. Firstly, new financial goal, new crucial obligation or task, new products introduction, gain efficiency, variation in business size, performance gap, and lastly, external force.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Nur Ijazati Afina binti Nazam. My match number is 202081092. I present about the dismissal or reinstatement of a worker. When an employee considers that they has been dismissed without cause or accused by this employer, they may make representation in writing to the Director General to be reinstated in his former employment. If no reasons are supplied at the time of dismissal, the industrial court is required to conduct its own investigation to have the employer justify the dismissal, provided that any such grounds submitted by the employer were visible and operational at the time of the dismissal. Secondly, their presentation may be filed at the office of the Director General nearest to the place of employment from which the workman was dismissed. The department may set a date for the conciliation at which both the employer and the employee are called for the goal of reaching an agreement. It is not always possible or even appropriate to reinstate after a break. This can be seen in the worker might no longer be capable of doing the job, or the employer might find it difficult to let the worker back in for a variety of reasons due to the fact that the employer no longer runs the business. By the time the Commission orders the employee's reinstatement, it might already be too late. However, merely informing a worker that their previous position is no longer open is insufficient for an employer. Although it is almost clear that the employer filled the position after the employee was fired, this is not a convincing defense against reinstatement following a wrongful termination. The employer is required to locate the employee a different position inside the business with equal working circumstances. Due to a lack of resources, employees who become ill or injured may not be eligible for reinstatement due to the fact that it will have a detrimental effect on the individual if the individual insists of returning to work. The Commission will not order reinstatement when employees are physically unable to fulfill their contractual responsibilities or are injured to undertake drastically different tasks. Additionally, there is no likelihood that the employee will recover from illness or injury, and it will put an undue strain on the business future productivity as well as that of the individual's other co-worker. Last is the assignment or allocation of duties or tasks to a worker that compatible with the term of service, section 30. So basically, in carrying out the collective agreement, it actually indicates the employee responsibility where the employer has a mandatory right over its workers, such as employees have an authority to act or make decisions that affecting the employees and so on. So the workers' duty or tasks that are allocated or assigned in a way that is compatible with the terms of service. It is one of the right prerogative of employer. Matters that cannot be touched or disputed by a trade union means that these employees must present the employees with explicit terms and its condition as well as with explicit terms and condition of employment errors. As we can see, any particular task that may be allocated right all the tasks, all these style must be provided by the employees with complete information so the employees, because they have enough information to perform that task, they know what to do, they know their jobs alright. All these terms and conditions based on the regulation and law that in effect under Employment Act of 1955. So, all the terms and conditions of agreement that have been reached cannot be questioned because it is one of the rights of the employees and employees. We can say is entitled to a bid right if there is any disputes regarding the job classification, which is one their management function is not it, so the court can be consulted. There are a lot of terms and conditions of Employment Act of 1955 such as responsibilities, working hours, attire, holidays, and beginning pay. They may also include benefits such as health insurance, life insurance, and retirement plans.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Nur Izzatul Samita Anwar and I will explain about the process of collective agreement. There are 5 processes and I will explain one by one. The first one is negotiation. Negotiation is a method by which people settle differences. It is a process by which compromise or agreement is reached while avoiding argument and dispute. In any dispute, parties involved naturally want to advance their position as much as possible or perhaps an organization they represent. During a negotiation, it is crucial to communicate clearly and effectively so that others can comprehend your position. The negotiation process tends to follow a standard pattern which falls into 4 recognized stages, which are preparation, the opening, trading, and agreement. Negotiations may fail if an agreement cannot be reached, and unions may then take industrial action. Once an agreement has been reached between the parties, it is signed and maintained until it is replaced or for a predetermined period of time. Secondly is report the dispute to Head Director Malaysia Enterprise Relations or in Malay Ketua Pengarah Perhubungan Perusahaan Malaysia KPPM. Corporate Relations Malaysia was established with the aim of forming and maintaining positive and harmonious relations between employers and employees and their unions to create a peaceful industrial relations atmosphere in the country. If the negotiation cannot be settled, this is the next process is through KPPM, which is employees or employer trade union. They must submit a complaint or report to the KPPM. The application process is claiming to be restored to his original position only be made within 16 days from the date of dismissal, must be made in writing to the Director General Malaysia Industrial Relations, and can be filled at the nearest KPPM's office with the word please. If both parties have reached an agreement settlement, a memorandum of agreement will prepare to be signed by both parties witnessed by the conciliation officer. Representation this is considered done and closed after all terms and conditions as in memorandum of agreement is fulfilled. Thirdly is report to Malaysian Societies Registration Department or in Malay Jabatan Pendaftaran Pertubuhan Malaysia JPPM. The Malaysian Organisation Registration Department is a department under the Ministry of Home Affairs that handles non-government organizations and political parties. They control and supervise the organization so that it does not compete with the peace, welfare, safety, public order, orders or morals of the Malaysian nation. They also manage and keep registration records related to the organization and branch of registered organizations. Is a report to Yang Amat Berhormat Minister of Human Resource. If a solution is not reached, representation will be submitted to YB Ministers of Resource Human. If YB the Minister thinks the representation reasonable to be tried, he at his discretion will refer representation to the court enterprise. If otherwise, the representation is not will be referred to the industrial court and representation concern will be closed. The process of handling the representation of dismissal at under Section 20 Industrial Relation Act 1967. And the last one is Industrial Court. Industrial Court is a specialized court of law that admits and entertains labor-related issues and the last option of collective agreement. The function of Industrial Court is to hear arguments and render judgment or awards in labor disputes that the minister or the parties themselves have referred to it. If the Industrial Court believes the collective agreement did not adhere to the IRA statutory requirements, it may refuse to grant cognizance. The collective bargaining agreement is considered to be an Industrial Court award. All cognizance is received and all parties are bound by it. For example, under Section 20 of the Industrial Relations Act 1967, a former employee whose employment is terminated by the employer may make a representation to the Director General for Industrial Relations if he considers that he or she was dismissed without just cause or excuse.
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Muhammad Ikram bin Fauzu Rizal and I will continue with the analysis case. So, we will go through a case regarding MCIS Safety Glass Sendirian Berhad versus Kesatuan Sekerja Pembuatan Barangan Galian Bukan Logam, which was examined under the Industrial Relations Act of 1967, pertaining the 9th collective agreement started 1 May 2006 until 30 April 2009. MCIS Safety Glass Sdn Bhd will be referred as the company, meanwhile Kesatuan Sekerja Pembuatan Barangan Galian Bukan Logam will be referred as the union. The company produced several types of automotive industry related glasses. It had both a domestic and international market. The first quorum heard testimony from 3 union witnesses. On April 13 and 14, 2009, the hearing continued before a new quorum composed of YA Puan Amelia T. Hong Giok binti Abdullah and the same panel members. On December 30, 2008, YA Datuk Umi Kalsum bin Abdul Majid was appointed to the position of Judicial Commissioner. The union hired Miss M. Eswari of the law firm of M. Eswari as fresh legal representation. At the time of the hearing, there were 3 provisions of that collective agreement that were in dispute, which were bonuses, salary increments and salary conversion. In front of the second quorum, the company's first witness, COW1, testified. Regarding salary conversion and salary increment, the union's legal representative requests the proposed collective agreement include a pay raise for the pertinent time. M. Eswari said that the Consumer Price Index (CPI) rose 7.4% between 1 May 2003 and 30 April 2006. The Industrial Court was worried that an excessive rise in the wage augmentation would cause inflation to soar. According to the 18 collective agreement between Malaya Glass Products Sdn Bhd and Non-Metallic Mineral Products Manufacturing Employees Union NMMPMEU, which was in effect from 1 March 2005 to 28 February 2008, the salary increase for employees was 6%. Because the industries were not comparable, the company's legal counsel claimed that it was risky to depend on those collective agreements. In Kumpulan O'Connor's case, the court awarded a salary boost of 9.5% of the basic rate based on the Mercer survey, which was based on market data of salaries for equivalent positions. Most unionized workers had only complete standard 6 of formal education, such as a lower certificate of education or sijil rendah pelajaran. Every confirmed employee shall get a pay rise of 4% of his most recent basic salary as of April 30, 2006, adjust to the nearest higher ringgit Malaysia, according to the Article 38 of the aforementioned collective bargaining agreement scale. The court rejected the union's proposal of Article 39.3, which would have paid an annual raise to workers who had earned the highest income possible for their job category. Employees will get their annual raise on pro rata basis if they had less than 12 months of continuous service as of April 30. The next collective bargaining agreement should make an effort to incorporate productivity linked wage system (PLWS). The court ordered PLWS because the company was unable to afford an annual salary increase.
Lastly, the last part, which is the conclusion. A collective agreement in a nutshell will benefit both parties. Although it may appear that a collective bargaining agreement benefits employee the most, the agreement also benefits the employer. The concerns that occur will be settled through mutual agreement. Additionally, the employer and staff will create a strong bond and understanding. When both parties reach an agreement on a collective bargaining agreement, for example, the working improvement improve. Because employees constitute the labour force, a better working environment will result in increased business production and effectiveness. The employer will benefit from increased employer productivity. Moreover, as a result of the problems that have been rectified, there will be fewer instances of industrial action such as strikes. A contract can take months or even years to finalize and implement. A collective agreement has advantages and downsides, but whether it is adopted or rejected, it will provide clarity and resolution to the concerns for all parties.